And I'm going to give the people what they want. And what they want is an Olympic rundown. And what you deserve is a quality of Olympic rundown that will make you smile and feel a little bit naughty. And we're going to start off right from the beginning talking about the monobod. And when I say monobod, I mean the monobod, mono one, bobsled, and how the two best bobsledders in the world are two American women who are 40 years old, 40 and 41, and they look 50. Like, these are not the people whose like skincare routine you should take. They look old, the best in the world. And bobsled is thrilling if you don't know. And these are they. These are they. Two best bobsledders in the world look like they've been through it. And about it, they're 40 and 41, and it's like a skill and power sport. So like I like so much about it because they were competing against these 25-year-olds and whipping them the monobod, first place and third place in the world. And like I said, 40, 41 years old, and they look 50. So it was just a fantastic experience for at least me to watch that. Also, and I'm building here. Also, you got to check out women's hockey. I was not prepared for, and I still have not seen an entire women's hockey game because I have a bunch of kids and like I can only see like highlights and maybe like little snippets. But what I saw, I liked in terms of both skill and finesse. I didn't know. I guess I saw women's hockey years ago when it looked more like, I don't know, some not so great aspects of women's basketball. But now the U.S. women's hockey team, they look tight. They are clever with it. And I appreciate what they're doing, even if I haven't seen an entire game myself, because, I have other, I can't just sit and watch an entire game. But if I were in a position where I didn't have a bunch of kids, I would thoroughly enjoy just kicking back and watching an entire U.S. women's hockey game. Apparently, they might be playing today against Canada. I hope they do well because they look clever with it. All right. Like clever passes, clever movements. I like that the passing lane's open and shut so fast, but they find it. I saw so much skill and cleverness on the ice. I don't really have an urge to watch the men's game because I think there's some sports, like, for example, I'll watch women's tennis before I watch men's tennis. For some reason, like the right amount of speed comes out in the women's game in a way that it might not in the men's game. But right now, U.S. women's tennis, watch it. I feel like it's it could be possibly more enjoyable than women's soccer. I don't know. It definitely, like in terms of skill, I like watching this U.S. women's hockey team more than I like watching the women's national team. I like watching women's soccer. So there's that. So keep that in mind. Also, should we get ready? Should we just get down to talking about the Asians? All right. So there are a lot of Asian American women and European, mostly former USSR men who are being featured, because I don't think the U.S. in general is very good at developing talent. We kind of steal other people's talent. We don't develop things here. We're a marketplace, an attractive market where other people can come and make money, but not necessarily make good people. So I think, unfortunately, we are bad at development. And I think that's a deeper U.S. problem it's one of the reasons why I'm running for school board. And you're surprised. You're saying, you can't talk about the men and women like this and expect to run for school board. But I think I can, and I think I am, and I think I will. And I'm saying that we don't develop talent here, and we don't have a development mindset because of, I think, some of the more pernicious aspects of liberalism, that we don't think in terms of developing. But so Europeans come here who might have a development act or came up in a Soviet system, and then they come and reproduce this system here, and they do pretty well, right? In terms of men, because in terms of our relevant men, not a lot of them, or not enough of them, I would say, were developed through our own native culture. A lot of them are transplants. So that's not, I don't think, the best way to win. I think the best way to win is actually develop our talent here, just in general, as opposed to import talented families and then have them do it. I don't think that's the best way. I want Americans to figure out how to do development better, just in general. So, and I think that's actually a broader point that will. I mean, it goes into why we need 501c3s, H-1B visas, as opposed to developing native talent here. It's because we don't actually think about developing like competently talent here. So that's a little bit of soapbox talk, but now I'm going to talk. I'll start with the men, or should I start with the women? You probably want me to start with the women. The women will be more entertaining than the men. The men are just like, a lot of them are like first generation Eastern European / USSR defector immigrants, and that is what it is. At least they're doing it for America this time. I'm not very happy that Russia's not in the Olympics. I have a problem with that. I think it's inappropriate, and I think maybe these Olympics should come with an asterisk on it, because I want to beat Russia. I don't want to pretend that Russia is not a country and a global power and a legitimate state, because they are a legitimate state as much as any of the other legitimate states are, and like that we don't agree with, but should be here. I think Russia should be here. I think Russia should be here. I think it's a shame and a sham that they're not, and that you don't have to. This isn't the U.S. Empire Olympics. U.S. Empire plus China Olympics. It is the Olympics, and I think we need to recognize that Russia is a nation. Even if they don't do their nationhood the way we would like them to do their nationhood. And we don't do our nationhood the way other people would like us to, either way. So Russia should be in these games, and I think it's an unfortunate aspect of our imperialism that we can't actually allow them in, or we chose not to. All right. So a lot of their kids come here competing for America, but with a pretty thick Eastern European / Russian accent. And then on the other side, we have Asian American women whom I adore. And I spend a lot of time, my formative years around Asian American women. I'm a fan of Asian American women, but you have to understand that there are levels to this, and I'm going to put a little explainer to all of the Negroes watching that, especially if you're an Olympic fan, to all the Negroes watching, that you cannot confuse one set of Asian American women with the other, in the same way that you can't confuse a Sidney McLaughlin with a Gabby Thomas and think you're dealing with the same quality of human. You can't confuse a Chloe Kim with a Elaine Gu and think you're dealing with the same quality of human, right? For those who don't know who these people are, this is Chloe Kim on top and Elaine Gao on the bottom. And Chloe Kim is awesome. I think I put her on top probably for a reason, because she is the one you want. There are levels to this, right? So I'm going to give you the take of someone who spent, like I said, their formative time dating Asian American women in Northern California, which, both Chloe and Elaine are supposed to be. And if you get confused, and I did this as a moderately domesticated, definitely uncouth, gauche, all the way poor black guy. So if I didn't develop a keen sense of which ones are good and which one's bad, you end up in jail, right? So I was a high risk dater, which I think is, you get one life. So Chloe Kim, awesome. She's like, and you could tell even before I found out she's going out with Myles Garrett, an NFL player. In general, Olympians who are going out with NFL players, I think they're probably the best ones, because a lot of these NFL guys seem cool. Like Myles Garrett seems cool. Simone Biles' boyfriend seems cool. Who else? There are a few others. Sidney McLaughlin's guy seems cool. So these Olympic athletes going with NFL players, that's not a mistake, and they are the better ones, right? So Chloe Kim, awesome. Wish her the best. Chloe, you see Chloe Kim out in the street, you see Chloe Kim around, and you don't know who she is. You just know she's cool and she's smart. You can talk to her and she's not going to treat you like trash. She's not going to treat you like trash, which is not the same for Elaine Gao, right? Elaine Gao is the kid who, she's a Stanford student now, gold medalist, very talented. Also, stay away from her. You see her going on one side of the street, cross to the other. She is not like, she's problems. There are problems with everything about her. You should just stay away. That's not going to be an enjoyable conversation at all for anyone. And it's probably going to be just a condescending mess. Right. So when you think of Elaine Gao, you want to pair Elaine Gao with a Gabby Thomas. Right. And when you think of Chloe Kim, you want to pair Chloe Kim with, where is she? Who do I have? I think this is her. Oh, yeah, this is her. This is my girl Sid. My girl Sydney McLaughlin, right? So, I'm doing Chloe Kim, Sydney McLaughlin. Sydney McLaughlin's not going to treat you like trash. You meet her and, like, if you're, walking and you're in your 20s and she's in her 20s and like whatever, and like you for some reason find yourself talking to her, you're not gonna end up like being punished for thinking she's cool. And she's actually might think you're cool, right? Like she might actually think you're cool, right? So that's the same with Chloe Kim. You want your daughters to be like Chloe Kim. You want your sons to date girls like Chloe Kim. You want your daughters to be like Sydney McLaughlin. You want your sons to date girls like Sydney McLaughlin. Like that's just what it is. These are good humans who, like I said, they were both better than me, but didn't treat me like that. And they kind of saw the virtue in the quality of my mind, like many of the people here. And if you do see a virtue in the quality of my mind, you go to www.funkyacademic.com and kick in $5, $15, or $50 a month. And that's going to be the top tier is going to be contrasted with an Elaine Gu and a Gabby Thomas, whom like you don't want any part of, right? So while they both seem American, Asian American, while the girls on the other side both seem black, there are levels to this. The two on top have more in common than with each other than the two on the bottom. You might have a different opinion about it, but like I said, I had to develop a keen eye for this kind of analysis, because if I hit on the wrong girl at the time, I'd end up, in trouble. All right, so someone says, Army, these are one kind of woman. No, they're not, actually. There are levels, right? You cannot confuse Chloe Kim with Elaine Gao. You cannot confuse Sydney McLaughlin with Gabby Thomas, right? So now that I've clarified that, and if you think you can, like, I don't know, you can't. I'm trying to give you the game here. So now let's go to the next set and then give a little explainer, a little Asian explainer to the Negroes watching at home. There's another one, Madison Chalk. Madison Chalk in the middle, right? Not going to treat you like trash. Has fight to her. Is fascinating, probably low-key hilarious. Probably actually medium-sized key, probably obviously hilarious, and is not going to treat you like trash, probably, but she might treat other people like trash. So it's complicated, but Madison Chalk, I can't find a picture of her. You can just Google Madison Chalk. Seems A-okay to me. You can talk to her. If she'll like appreciate your quality without deprecating you. And that's kind of the same, I would say, with Tara Miles. Tara Davis. Tara Davis, right? So I think Tara Davis is cool. You never had a chance with Tara Davis. It's like you never had a chance with Madison Chalk, but she wouldn't make you feel bad. And like, she wouldn't make you feel bad. And it's funny because they're both with white guys who are just happy that they are here for the ride, which I think is the appropriate of place, because like they're both with kind of oafish white guys who are like nice guys who feel like they struck the lottery, and they kind of did with those two, right? So Madison Chalk and Tara Davis are similar, right? So you cannot confuse Tara Davis for Gabby Thomas, because Gabby Thomas is horrible, but the marketing will tell you that she's great. So that's the problem, right? So, and it'll confuse your daughters and your sons about what they should look for, right? So they're looking for a Tara Davis. They should not look for a Gabby Thomas. And yeah, they should definitely look for a Sydney McLaughlin. And these are your role models for your kids too, because you want your kids to be Sydney McLaughlin. And if they have a little bit more edge, maybe they want their kids to be Tara Davis, and you want your kids to be hanging around with these people, and not the other ones. You do not want your kids even hanging around Elaine Gao. You don't want your kids even hanging around. Let me get her picture up here. And yeah, you don't want your kids even hanging around Gabby Thomas. Your kids hang around Gabby Thomas. It turns out you'll raise a daughter you don't even like. And you definitely don't want your son dating Gabby Thomas. It's fine. Hopefully Gabby Thomas will go and end up with the billionaire that she deserves. But I'd keep your kids away from Gabby Thomas, and keep your kids with a Chloe Kim, right? You want your kids. And Madison Chalk, I'm sorry, Madison. I see you, though. I think you're tough. I think you're fierce. I think you're probably hilarious. And I think you would have been a decent person to hang out with. And you wouldn't have treated me like trash. So, like, good for you. Good life. You want your daughters to be like Madison Chalk. You want your daughters to be like Chloe Kim. You do not want your daughters to be like Elaine Gao. I don't care how much money she has. You do not want your kids to be like that. All right. And on the other side, you want your kids to be like Sydney McLaughlin. You want your kids to be like Tara Davis. You do not want your kids to be like Gabby Thomas. If I have to... let's see what chat has to say. Someone says, these are all kind of Eileen Gao. Yeah, I do not like her. Bad love the token Cali girls. All right, so what else should you know about the Olympics other than that there are levels to the Asian women? What happened to the Asian men? I don't... That'd be a fascinating thing to work out in the... That'd be a fascinating thing to work out in the comments. I don't know where the Asian men are. They're programming. They're not doing skiing and figure skating. But I think there's probably a more interesting take to be had on them. The relative absence of Asian men. There's this guy, Spencer Howe, who is a pairs ice skater. But I think there's something else going on that I can't quite put all the pieces together with. I can't put all the pieces together, but I really don't think that America... I think there's something going on with why there's so many more Asian men. All right, so let me look at the chat real quick. What a great way to spend your formative years. You're cooler than I thought. Yeah, this is, oh God. Yeah, I spent my formative years hitting on girls who are possibly way out of my league. And, some of them actually enjoyed my company because depending on what you talk about, they get bored with guys who are in their league. After 20, if you wanted like a boring engineer, you could have found one if you're a Chloe Kim. And then I come along and I look not that like that, right? Now, and I was broke and, ethically hilarious and intellectually interesting. But that was just kind of what it was. But it gave me a kind of an insight on which one to pick and which one not to, lest you like be disappointed. So what do you need to know about the Winter Olympic besides women's hockey is going to be more interesting than you think? Somehow curlers got younger and bobsledders got older. I still can't find. I find it hilarious that these 40-year-old women, won the mama bod, and I said mom bod, and these 40-year-old women look like they're 50, like they look like before pictures of like a skincare commercial, and you say, Ivy, that's a horrible thing you said. You shouldn't judge women based on look. Like I'm judging everyone based on what I want to judge them on. And they're hugely talented, and but yeah, this is it's just kind of amusing that these are the best bobsledders in the world. Go for them, good on them, for everything. Like I said, except I don't know, drink more water. Got that Romanian diet. Except they're Americans. All right, so. What else do you need to know about the Olympics besides curlers are younger than you thought and bobsledders might be older than you thought, and I love everything about it. I love everything. I used to call these the blue blood games because you need to be rich in an Ivy League school to get to them, but I still love the competition, man. Still love the competition. You got that girl who looks like Rachel Brosnahan. She looks freakishly like Rachel Brosnahan. Isabu. She's a kid, but she looks exactly like Rachel Brosnahan. She even, when she opens her mouth, she sounds like Rachel Brosnahan. So I can't be the only one who thinks that. And I appreciate what I'm saying. I said there's another girl from Oakland who's doing really well in figure skating. Alyssa Liu, is that her name? Can't quite figure out her aesthetic, but she seems cool, man. Northern California Asian Americans are cool. The ones who are, and then the ones who aren't are not. And hopefully this will give you both open your mind at the possibility that they're cool, and Southern California Asian women are cool too. The ones who are, and then the ones who are not, are not. And I hope this opens your mind to that, because there are levels. You do not want white people like shoving Gabby Thomas down your throat when there's Sydney McLaughlin or Tara Davis, right? You do not want them shoving Gabby Thomas down your throat. Just like you do not want them shoving Eileen Gao down your throat when there is a Chloe Kim, when there is a Madison Shaw, and down your kid's throat. All right. Thank you for your time. If you appreciate what I'm doing, and nobody's going to give you the quality of rundown that I've just given you, so you should go to www.funkyacademic.com and kick in $5, $15, or $50 a month if you enjoyed any of the chuckles that I have set forth in your mind. All right. Take care. Peace.